Thank you for meeting with the press this weekend. Thank you for coming to Boston.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
My name's Doug Engler. I'm with Anime-Zing Radio. We're a podcast that's been going for the last 9 years.
Cool.
And been a big fan of a lot of the work that you've done, including through Konosuba and Seven Deadly Sins, shows like that.
Thank you.
Recently was introduced to Genshin Impact last year. And my first question is, being a part of Genshin, has it been weird how it's suddenly blown up like it has and has been such mainstream?
Yes. When I recorded for it, I thought it was just a little phone game that I was just gonna, I was like, wow, there's a lot of lines for this little phone game, but I'll just, finish this up, and then a couple people will play it, and it's very beautiful, so, we'll see. But I thought it was gonna be like a niche thing, like there would be a couple hardcore fans, and then most people wouldn't really know about it. So I think the fact that it came out during the pandemic really made people really intensely get into it, a lot more than I expected. I mean, it's also a really good game. But yeah, I did not expect it at all. So it's crazy now coming to like conventions like this, and half the people are dressed as Genshin characters. It's really cool.
And as my wife's an artist, has a table down at Artist Alley, and vending with her, once cons started coming back, we realized if we didn't recognize the costume, it was probably Genshin.
Yes.
Something I needed to look into a little bit more.
Yes, that's what I kept telling people when I would come to conventions who didn't know what Genshin was. I'd be like, look out there. Half of those costumes, the ones you don't know, those are all Genshin. So yeah, it's big. I think conventions are just starting. When I first started coming back to conventions, I felt like the people running conventions didn't know what Genshin was yet. And so I tried to be like, look at all the people. They're all for Genshin. They were like, what's a Genshin? So now it feels like the conventions are like, oh yeah, you're a Genshin. You should come here. And I'm like, cool. So it's exciting.
And what got you interested in acting and voice acting?
So I always loved performing and making people laugh and smile. I was always doing stuff like speech and debate and school plays, mock trial, anything that would like let me act. I did comedy sports in high school. When I was in kindergarten, I played the Big Bad Wolf in the Three Little Pigs, and then the next year the play was Jack and the Beanstalk, and I really wanted to play Jack, and they wouldn't let me. And they made me play part of the Beanstalk because they were like, you got a big role last year. And I was like, this is the worst. I hate this. So I had one line as the Beanstalk, and I remember just saying it and then sitting down for the rest of the play and being like, I wanted to shine. So I just always thought it was fun. I thought it was a hobby. I like briefly mentioned that I wanted to be a voice actor to my mom when I was watching the Disney Channel when I was 9, and one of the actors mentioned voice acting. And I was like, that's cool. And then she was like, that's not a real job. And I was like, okay, sure. I'm 9, I don't know. And then in college, I saw an advertisement at a convention that I was at just as a fan for a voice acting workshop with Tony Oliver. And I was like, that sounds cool. I thought that was a job at one point. And I went, and it ended up being almost a private lesson. At the time, nobody really knew about these classes yet. They're called Adventures in Voice Acting. Now, if you try to sign up, they're full, like super fast. But it was just me and one other guy for this like 8-hour full day thing. And so at the end of the day, Tony was like, you should think about doing this for a job. You've got some talent in this. And I was like, oh, so it is a job. So I changed my major to theater, and I had already thought I wanted to like make games or cartoons because I just love the medium, and I love telling stories, and I always really connected with those things when I was growing up. So turned out I just wanted to be in them. And yeah, and then I studied hard, and now I'm here. Yeah.
And being an anime fan, Inuyasha was basically my gateway into the world of anime.
Yes.
And I saw that you had a big role in Yashahime.
Yes.
What was it like to be a part of that franchise?
That was really cool. So Inuyasha, when I was a kid, before I really knew what anime was, I had this one friend, and my sister and I would go over to her house, and she was obsessed with Inuyasha. And she was always like, let's watch Inuyasha. And we didn't know about the show, and she would put on like a random episode in the middle, and we'd be like, we don't know what's going on. what's happening? Why is this girl just yelling at this guy to sit all the time? What's happening? So that was my memory of Inuyasha, of these like random snippets throughout the show that I would see, and I'd be like, I feel like if I knew what was happening, I would like this, but she would never start from the beginning, and she would never explain it. So when I got cast in Yashahime, I was like, oh, this is so cool. That friend would be so excited. I lost touch when we were like 10, so, but she would be very excited, I think.
To make her jealous.
Yes, yes. I think she's like a doctor now or something. I don't know. She has an adult job. And yeah, but my first anime that I understood was an anime was Fruits Basket. And I got super into the manga first, and then for my birthday one year, one of my friends got me the anime, and so we had a sleepover and we all watched it. And I remember when we first put it on, we pressed play, and for some of the characters we were like, that's not what we imagined they would sound like, because we read through the manga. And I always think about that, because I'm like, people say that about me now when they put things in, I bet. So yeah, I really like anime. I think it's very cool.
Is it different recording for games as opposed to anime? I know like Funimation, Sentai have different styles for recording in the booths,
Yes.
but I don't know a lot about the gaming world of voice acting.
Yeah, it's very different. Same with, you know, the type of anime in the studio. Every studio has their own way of recording anime, so it's a little different depending on where you go. Same with games, depending on the studio and like the type of game, it's a little different. But in general, recording for games is a lot faster paced than anime, because for anime they'll, you know, show us the line in Japanese. We'll usually go like one at a time, or if they're close together, like a couple at a time, and then we watch it, and then we do ours, and then they have to fit it to the lip flaps, and then, you know, with games, most of the time we're not doing any fitting to lip flaps or anything. So I'd say my average like loops per hour, lines per hour for anime is like 45, whereas for games it's like 110. So we go much faster down the script. And sometimes I don't even get the other characters' lines around my lines in a gaming script. It's just all, like for Genshin Impact, it's like venti, 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 venti. And the director has to be like, okay, so you're talking to Paimon here. Paimon said something snarky, so now you're like kind of making fun of her. And that's all the context that I get. So yeah, we'll just do 2 takes and we just go straight down. And yeah, I like the fast pace of video games a lot. I feel like it keeps me engaged. And yeah, they're both very fun in their own ways.
Just because like a lot of voice actors have so many roles, I usually have to resort to like Anime News Network.
Right.
The cheat sheets.
I also go there for my own roles, so.
And knowing that you were part of ReZero, which was another really good anime, what was it like to be a part of that franchise? Which the following on that is huge.
Yes, yeah, that one was really cool. I used to joke in season 1 that I was the one girl character that didn't think the protagonist was the coolest person in the world. I feel like that changed in season 2. Now she's like, he's cool, and I'm like, oh man, that was my thing was that I was like, he's not so great. But I still joke about that with the director, and it was a very fun show. It was very cool. Being like a supporting character rather than a main character is interesting because I have no clue what's going on outside of the scenes that I'm in. And so every once in a while, if there's like one of my lines refers to some crazy thing that happened, the director will have to be like, oh right, okay, so like Subaru, he died, and then he went back, and there was this whole thing. One of them went evil, and they tried to murder him, and I'm like, whoa, a lot has gone on since I've been here. So yeah, it's very fun.
And Persona 5, or the Persona franchise, also a very big video game franchise. What's it like now I don't see as much cosplay from that. Have you encountered a lot of the fans from Persona and a lot of crossover between Persona and Genshin?
Yeah, I do see a lot of Persona cosplay. It's been out for about 6 years now, so it goes through waves, I'd say, of people being in cosplay more for Persona. Every time there was like a spin-off game that would come out, there would be more cosplay. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the people that like one of the games generally also like the other one. I think On and Venti are definitely two of my most popular characters right now, so it's very cool. I think those two characters are the closest to my regular voice. On is really just my normal voice, just maybe like slightly more peppy a lot of the time. And then Venti is just like my regular voice when I'm just kind of like being more relaxed. It's just like a little raspier. Except he's also, you know, drunk, so I add that. But so those are like two of my easiest voices to do. So it worked out that those are two of the most popular ones. So I can easily just slip into a little voice here and there for people that come to meet me, and I like seeing their faces light up. It's fun.
That's gotta be one of the fun things about being a voice actor is, you know, a lot of fans, especially at like a convention setting, a lot of fans don't know Erika, they
Yes.
know Venti.
Yeah.
And is it fun to try to get people to know you as a voice actor, not just the characters you roll?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I always say that I think my fans are some of the best fans, which I'm sure everybody thinks, but I really think it. Because I do feel like I've been lucky enough to play such a range of characters that more often than not, people do know me for more than just one thing, like more than just Venti. And so I think it's easier when people know you as more than just one thing to like separate and be like, you're an actor, because you can play Venti and then also Kurapika, who is a very different voice type. So I do have fun like streaming and stuff where I get to be my regular self, and I put out singles and stuff like that. So I love when people come up when they meet me and they mention those things. I'm expecting the like, I like this character. So then when someone says, I like when you stream, or I like your song, I'm like, oh, right, that's cool, that's me, I did that. So yeah, I think it's really cool. My fans are cool, I like them.
And I know that like the fan base has grown, especially since the pandemic. How has your recording style changed from pre-pandemic to post-pandemic?
I record a lot more from home now, which before the pandemic, I specifically wouldn't audition for things that didn't want me to come into the studio because I didn't want to engineer myself. I was just, you know, I would record my auditions in a closet space, which was like, you know, it was sound treated, but not broadcast quality. It was good enough for auditions. And then once the pandemic hit, you know, for like a year and a half, everything was from home. So I had to really adapt. So I ended up, I have like a professional home studio set up now. And it's cool. I do like that I can just, you know, roll out of bed and be in my pajamas for a session, which is nice. And, you know, I can hang out with my husband on breaks and be like, this was a crazy session. Okay, bye. But I love the energy that I get when I go into a studio, so I do miss getting to go in for everything. But I mean, I don't have to be in LA traffic as much anymore. There's positives and negatives.
Oh yeah.
But I'd say 50% of my work is still from home, even now, so. Yeah.
And I know a lot of studios are starting to open up more for in-building sessions and stuff. Still a lot of, you know, pandemic has really kind of tossed the whole world on its head with everything.
Yes.
Certain anime, I think Bo Fury is under another delay because of COVID in Japan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite animes that you like to watch just to relax, nothing to do with work? I just want to sit down and watch something.
Case Closed was one of my favorites. I have watched through all the old dub episodes of that. And I got so, you know, back when they originally dubbed Case Closed, they like changed the names to like Richard and like, I don't know, whatever the other characters' names were. So then when I got to the end of where they dubbed it, because they stopped after like 300 episodes, I was like, I don't know their names in Japanese, I can't continue. So it was tragic. And now I'm in the new dub for Detective Conan. It's not Case Closed anymore, Detective Conan, which was really exciting. And so I like that one. I like Ouran High School Host Club. Fruits Basket is always one of my favorites. Full Metal Alchemist is one of my favorites. I love the original series of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's one of my all-time favorite animes. I used to have well, I still do. I have a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I've collected over the years. But I used to have this really good deck that I would bring out when I went to my friend's house, and I lost it in a move, and I'll never get over it. Yeah, and Pokemon, like the original couple seasons, I was really obsessed with, so.
And, talking about like Fruits Basket, the original was great for entertainment. The reboot that they had was just so good. I still haven't finished it because...
Me too, I still haven't finished it either.
There's so many shows that come out, and doing an anime-related podcast, I'm typically watching between 5 to 15 animes a season.
Oh, wow.
On top of working 2 jobs, podcasts, and all that stuff. So if I fall behind on something, it's tough for me to get back to it.
Same, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the newer stuff I just haven't had time to watch. I used to, when I first started voice acting in the industry, try and watch the stuff that I was in, especially just to, see how it came out, or like before I record to see like, how the show goes. But at this point, I don't have time to watch through all of it. But the stuff that I see when I record looks really cool. I did watch through a lot of like Violet Evergarden. Things that are one season are a little easier for me to watch through. But yeah, in my heart, I'm an anime fan with not enough time.
I think all of us can say that.
Yeah.
One show that you were a part of, which my co-host and I absolutely loved, it's just like one of the most wholesome shows out there, Tonikawa.
Yes.
What was it like to be a part of that?
That was a cool one. I had no idea what that show was going to be when I went in, and ended up being so cute. I really like my character. She's very funny. And yeah, I don't know. That one's just a fun, easy one. There's not fights, going on. There's nothing too crazy. It's just a slice of life. I like the slice of life shows. So. Yeah.
I have to ask, you like the isekais or not so much?
I do like isekais. It depends on the isekai. Some of them are a little too crazy for me. I'm like, all right, okay, we've done this before. But I like the idea of going to another world. I mean, Kingdom Hearts is my favorite video game series, so that concept is always very fun to me, of being out of place in a new magical location. So yeah, I think they're cool.
And like I had mentioned, you were a part of Konosuba as the guild master, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Luna, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the guild master, but one of the people that worked at the guild.
Yeah, she gives all the missions, yes.
What was it like to be around that cast of just misfits? There's no other better way to put it than misfits.
Yeah, that was fun. The director for that's Alex Von David, and he's very fun to work with. He's the perfect director for that show because his energy really fits the energy, the chaotic energy of that show. And I was working with him on something else, and he showed me, he was like, oh yeah, my next thing I'm directing is this, let me show you a clip. And he showed me, and I was like, this is crazy. And he was like, yeah, I can't wait. So it was very fun to be a part of it. Those sessions, he's very encouraging about us trying, our own personal takes on things, because that's kind of what the heart of the show is us being silly and doing our own thing. So it's very fun. I like it. I love comedies. That was I was originally drawn to comedy, so I always like doing that.
And you mentioned that you were a streamer. For our viewers out there, where can they find your streaming, if you have YouTube or anything like that?
Yes. So my YouTube is with a K Games, which was born from everyone spelling my name with a C. People still spell it with a C in the comments. It didn't help. But yeah. I used to stream on Twitch, so you'll still find my profile there, but I don't stream there anymore. I moved to YouTube because I kept forgetting to download my streams, and they would disappear forever. And on YouTube, they stay forever, so that was just more helpful for me. And I'm also on TikTok with a K Erika, and Instagram with a K Insta. It's all inspired by a lifetime of my name being misspelled. So yeah, I post, videos on all those places every now and then when I remember. YouTube is pretty regular. I have a team that helps me remember to upload. So yeah, if you like watching video games, I play things that I am in and that I'm not in. So Come
So
back.
you played some Genshin on stream, things like
Yes,
that?
yeah. I stream Genshin whenever I can. Right now I'm stuck in the chasm, so I